guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another foundation review, and today we're going to be testing out the Jouer Essential High Coverage Foundation. If you guys are new here, I do have very oily skin, so I like to do wear tests when I try out new foundations. So I am going to be doing a 10-hour wear test today. I also do have a little bit of rosacea. I have acne-prone skin and I have sensitive skin. So we will be putting this super high coverage foundation to the test today, and I'm super excited. So if you guys are interested in seeing how this foundation works on my skin, then just keep on watching. Okay, so this is the Jouer Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation. This is what the packaging looks like. It's absolutely beautiful. I am loving this frosted glass with the gold lid. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell on camera, but this bottle is very small. I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger, especially because the box that it came in is huge. This is how big the box is compared to how small the foundation is. So I thought it was gonna be a lot bigger, and then I saw how many fluid ounces were in it, and it only has 0.68 fluid ounces. So this foundation is $38 and you're only getting 0.68 fluid ounces, which is really not a lot. Standard foundation fluid ounce is usually 1 fluid ounce, so you're only getting a little bit over half of that. So hopefully this does wonders for my skin, because that is pretty pricey for the amount of product that you're getting in here. This is a full coverage foundation that's supposed to feel very lightweight on the skin, and it's also supposed to be long wearing. It also says online that there's hydrating ingredients in this, like hyaluronic acid, tripeptides, chamomile, and cucumber extracts to soothe and condition the skin, which is awesome because when you do have a matte foundation, sometimes it can just like suck the life out of you and make you feel really dry. So that is awesome that they put some hydrating ingredients in here. This is also an oil-free foundation, if you guys were wondering. So I'm just gonna get right into trying this out, and I'm gonna do the same thing that I always do, which is use a primer on half of my face. I use the Cane+Austin Mattifying Prime and Protect primer. This primer seems to work the best for me out of every primer that I've ever tried. It smooths out my pores, it makes my face look really soft, and most importantly, it keeps my oils at bay. So I'm gonna put this on half of my face, and we're just gonna see if the foundation performs better with a primer or without. So for everyone that doesn't like to wear primers, we're just gonna see how this foundation performs by itself. And then online, since it did say that this foundation was very concentrated, so you only need a little bit, I'm only gonna be using 1 pump, and we'll just see how that covers up. Ooh, that's really liquidy. So while I let this primer sit in, I'm gonna do this side first, and I'm gonna start with a beauty blender. So I'm just gonna take half of that drop and then dot this around in my face. I think I forgot to say this, but I got the shade Sand, and online this looked a lot darker. I was not expecting it to be this light, so it is gonna be a little bit lighter than me, it looks like, but we're just gonna have to roll with it. So I'm gonna be using a beauty blender on this side, blending out really easily, and holy coverage. Wow. I'm really liking how easy this is to blend out. Sometimes I have to like tug a little bit more with a beauty blender, especially to blend foundations out, but this is spreading really, really easily. Oh my gosh, this has so much coverage. It also is pretty yellow on my skin. It looked like it was gonna be a little bit more like kind of beigey online, but that's okay because I do have a lot of redness on my face. That's because I do have a little bit of rosacea. My body has a yellow undertone, but my face has like a red undertone. So the yellow is okay, but this is just like really yellow. Okay, so this is with only half of a pump, and that is crazy. First of all, let me just say that it feels like there's absolutely nothing on my skin, which I am loving. It definitely is very, very lightweight, which is awesome. I seriously feel like I'm not wearing anything on my face at all, and it covered up everything. Okay, so far I am absolutely loving this. So I'm gonna take what's left over from that 1 pump. So this will be another half pump. Actually, it looks like there's a little bit more on this side. Oh yeah, there's a lot more actually. Okay, I still have like a lot left over, so I'm not even using a full pump. And I'm blending this out with a brush. This is a Morphe E31 brush, my favorite foundation brush. Coverage is insane. Okay, yeah, there was definitely more left over in this pump, so I did get a little bit too much on the side, honestly, so I'm gonna have to try and like even these 2 sides out. I think I like the way that it's blending out with the beauty blender better. It just seems like it looks a lot softer on my face. Gosh, I look like a ghost right now. This is way too light for me. I'm gonna go back in with my beauty blender and just pounce over that because I did like the way that it looked with the beauty blender a lot more than the brush. I literally look like I'm wearing a mask right now. I'm definitely gonna have to exchange this for a darker shade. And next time I'm wearing this, I am definitely not going in with a full pump. I'm honestly probably only gonna use half a pump. I mean, the coverage is insane, but I definitely didn't need that much at all. Okay, so it's drying down to definitely like a softer matte finish. It still feels a little bit tacky on my fingers, but I feel like it just hasn't completely dried down yet. It is already starting to crease in my chin and my smile lines. Honestly, that happens with like every foundation, but usually once I like blend it out and then set it quick, the creasing will stop. So let's just hope that'll happen. Okay, so this is what it looks like up close. The only thing that I'm noticing is that it is creasing in my chin already. You can see right here, it's creasing quite a bit, and it almost makes it look kind of like dry and cracked a little bit, and I think that is because of the matte finish that it has. I am gonna blend that out with a beauty blender and then set it really quick. Usually when I do that, the creasing tends to stop on my face, so I am gonna be doing that. Other than it creasing in my chin and my smile lines, I think it looks pretty good. My forehead looks pretty good too. So I'm gonna finish up my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what it looks like with the rest of my makeup on, and it is now 3:52, but I actually finished my makeup at 3:30 on the dot. So I'm gonna call time at 3:30, but yeah, so this is what it looks like. I actually think it looks a lot better than it did before. My face looks a lot smoother, I feel like. And before, it kind of looked like I was wearing a mask because it was so full coverage and just kind of like washed me out. So I do think it looks a lot better now. I only used a tiny bit of concealer underneath my eyes because it was so full coverage that I didn't need it anywhere else. The only thing that I'm not loving is just obviously the creasing in my chin a little bit, but it's really not that bad. I do have a pretty deep natural crease in my chin, so it's pretty hard for foundations not to do that for me. The only thing is that it does feel pretty dry on my skin, but I'm hoping that once my natural oils start to come through, that feeling will go away. So I do think it is making my chin look a little bit drier than usual. Even though my skin does feel a little bit drier, it still feels like I'm not wearing anything on my face. I cannot believe how full coverage this is without being heavy. Like, it literally feels like I have nothing on my face, which is awesome. So I'm gonna zoom you guys in now, and I will see you in about 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so this is what it looks like up close. Hopefully you guys can tell that my face does look a lot softer. I feel like the texture on my cheeks is a little bit less enhanced than it was before I set my makeup. It also did stop creasing in my smile lines completely, which is awesome. Looks pretty good in the sides of my nose, and my nose looks pretty good. My forehead looks good. The only thing is my chin is still creasing a little bit, but my chin also does look very dry. It's not happening anywhere else on my face. The rest of my face looks really good, but my chin for some reason just looks a little bit drier than usual, and again, that is because I'm wearing a very matte foundation. Okay guys, so it is 7:40 now, so it's been about 4 hours since it's been on my face, a little bit longer. And oil-wise, it actually looks really good. I'm only getting a little bit shiny on my forehead, but nothing crazy at all. The only thing that's still going on is the creasing in my chin, and now it's also creasing pretty bad in my smile line. Excuse my pinky. I just started taking my nails off. But yeah, so oil-wise, I think it looks really good, but it's just like literally from here down, it's looking a little funky. Like I said before, it's kind of just making my chin look a little bit drier than normal. It is also starting to cake up a little bit in the sides of my nose. Okay, so this is what it's looking like up close. You guys can probably see already the creasing in my chin. Also creasing really bad in my smile lines, and in the corners of my nose you can see it's starting to look a little bit cakey, but there is still not really any oil. My forehead is a little bit shiny, but nothing crazy at all. I'm just having a little bit of an issue with it looking kind of dry on my skin, which usually isn't a problem for me since I do have such oily skin. I usually never see my skin looking like this. I'm wondering if I used a really hydrating primer underneath this foundation, if I would have a different experience. So I think I'm gonna try that next time I use this foundation, because that's really my only like complaint besides the creasing is just how dry it makes my skin look. Okay, so we have 6 more hours to go before my 10-hour mark, and I think I'm gonna check in one more time before that 10-hour mark. So I'll be back in a couple hours to check in with you guys, and I will see you guys then. Alright guys, so it is now 1:33 in the morning. It has been 10 hours exactly, and I'm pretty oily. You guys can probably see from there. My forehead, I think, is the oiliest, and then I'm also pretty oily on the center of my cheeks. The main thing, though, that just does not look good is it has started to separate a lot on my skin. It's also coming off like anywhere that I touch it, even if I touch it just a little bit. I don't know, my chin just looks super, super dry, and it's creasing really bad in my line, and it also is looking really cakey inside of my nose. It actually is looking really cakey everywhere. Okay, so this is the foundation on my skin up close. It does not look very pretty right now. It looks pretty oily, and the oiliness isn't even really the problem here. The problem is the fact that it's separating and caking up a lot. It's also transferring a ton, even if I just barely touch my skin. I don't know why, but for some reason my chin just looks so dry and it clung to every little bump in my skin. The sides of my nose also look very cakey, and my forehead is probably the oiliest. And yeah, it's just not looking too hot right now. As you guys can see, sadly, this foundation did not pass my 10-hour wear test, which really sucks. I was really excited for this foundation because it was so full coverage. But as always, I am going to keep trying this foundation out. I always want to give a foundation a fair shot, so I will keep trying this foundation with different primers, different setting powders, different setting sprays, all different kinds of things. I'm going to be testing this out. So I will not be giving up on this foundation until I try everything possible, but I did use everything that I normally use and it still didn't seem to work out. And I also didn't use a primer on this side of my face. So hopefully when I try this with a moisturizing primer underneath, maybe that will kind of fix the whole like dryness situation. If you guys are oily and you guys like this foundation, let me know what you guys have been using as like primer, setting powder, setting spray, everything like that, and let me know so I can try that out as well. And once again, I always have to give a little disclaimer. Just because this foundation did not work out for me, it doesn't mean that it won't work out for you. Everybody has different skin types, and I've even seen people that are just as oily as me wearing foundations that work for them that would never in a million years work for me. So everybody does have different skins. Everybody's skin likes to agree with different products, so just keep that in mind when you're watching my reviews. So this foundation is going to be a pass for me, and it is really sad saying that because I love Jouer. Jouer is an amazing brand, and actually they make my favorite highlighter ever. This is the Jouer Citrine highlighter. I wear it basically in every single one of my videos, so if you guys are ever wondering what highlighter I'm wearing, it's usually always this one. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that it was helpful for you guys, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.